Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to call on Rav Applebaum and Associates, RAA, to be represented by Nicholas Applebaum for their remarks, please. Nicholas Applebaum.
Thank you very much. I'd like to stand with all protocol was observed. I first came to Abeokuta in 2008, and back then the site was filled with a lot of small buildings, this site, and big dreams. And I remember walking to an air-conditioned storage shed with President Obasanjo. And before the doors opened, he squeezed my hand, as he often does with people's hands, and he said, "Nick, I kept everything." In time, I realized how profound these words were for President Obasanjo's young nation, not only 50 years old at that point. And Baba described himself yesterday to the BBC as a hoarder. But I think what he's done is more complex and ambitious than that. As President Johnson Sirleaf said, today Baba has begun a new national tradition for public record keeping in Nigeria. He has reminded us that it is important to remember. The symbolism of this project, the first of its kind in Africa, cannot be overlooked. The greatest sin, in my opinion, brought against the people of this continent was that both humanity and history were stripped away by colonial powers and internecine wars. Today, if we forget that and the lessons of a recent fractured past, Africa is left without a historical foundation upon which to build itself. Baba compels us very clearly to maintain, catalog, and formalize our national history, Nigeria's national history, so that it can never be erased, revised, or ignored by anyone ever again. So the president is reminding us to learn to keep what we have, but he's also reminding us to keep what we have so we can learn from it. So why make these points on the occasion of his 80th birthday? What does it reveal about the president? Well, I think it shows three things. First, it shows his commitment to transparency. The president believes that maintaining records is a central obligation to public life. In lieu of legislation on this matter, there is morality. He abides by that code. So where there was once darkness, the project has lit a bright candle for posterity on the highest functions and thinking of the state. He wishes to hide nothing. In such conditions, where the head of state is so transparent about his actions, the bane of corruption and hidden influences will quickly expire. Second, the museum is very honest. This museum does not make outlandish claims or promises. It does not claim that Baba or his generation has resolved every issue in the world or in Africa or in Nigeria. It is not overly idealistic. It does not speak only to those who support him. It is neither a monument nor a mausoleum. It is a library. It demystifies public power and exposes the human dimension of politics. The president values inclusive debate. Through openness, this library allows anyone to make their argument. You do not have to agree with the president, and at least he will respect you that your argument is accurately sourced if you've done your research at this library. The president has reminded us in his political career in a famous quote, "Let us always do what is right and not what is easy and popular." The library is a testament to that. Moreover, the project is an exercise in humility. The cynic will say that this project is a personal vanity. Here's why that's really wrong. This is the only place in Nigeria where a visitor can come to see an account of Nigeria's recent past since independence. The library brings together for the first time extraordinary film footage, documents, and artifacts to help all Nigerians learn about the birth of their republic and the emergence of a democratic state and new institutions such as a free press. The exhibition has personal letters, documents, photographs, and film footage spanning 7 decades. To not believe in the utilitarian value of this library is to not believe in the value of history, record keeping, or public education. I will conclude with the following thought, and I recognize that there are 2 or 3 Nigerian presidents in this room. This is the first presidential library in Nigeria, but I think even President Obasanjo will say that we have failed if it is the last. The president has provided a great blueprint for the nation to record its history, and he is leading now by example. My firm, Ralph Applebaum Associates, is forever grateful for this opportunity to help the president tell his story. So I'd like to thank the president very much. Thank you. I am myself very grateful for Philip Hughes. Please stand up, Phil, if you're here. An extraordinary designer and project leader who has been to Abeokuta perhaps more times than most Nigerians. He has led our efforts on this project. Our work takes us to many places, and our work is unique. I'm proud to say that we have just begun work on the Barack Obama Presidential Library in the United States. Thank you. That project continues a legacy in the United States begun by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Mr. Roosevelt's family is represented in this audience today by Tracy Roosevelt, his great-granddaughter. She's standing. Please stand, Tracy. Tracy worked at Ralph Applebaum Associates on this library, and we're very proud that she spent time on it. But let us say today, finally, and without any qualifications, that this begins a new tradition in Nigeria and Africa. President Obasanjo is its pioneer, and for the act of creating this library, he deserves our enduring respect and history's timeless gratitude. Thank you.